Hey, what is going on, crypto people? It is the crypto siege with another day in the life and the crazy life that is the digital asset space. Good morning and happy Monday to you. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hope it gets even better for you. Going to be included in the alt season. So I got to tell you, I am absolutely excited about what's going on in this market. It's a pretty cool deal to see what's going on. And we haven't even really gotten into the bull run. Hope you guys realize that we haven't even gotten into the bull run. This is just nipping around at it, dipping his toe in it a little bit. We're not actually in that bull run yet. And that is cool to see. And it's great to know and understand it. That is an even cooler thing for sure. So digital assets, this is where the alpha is, and they know it. Hedge funds know it. Institutional money knows it. Macro investors know it. Billionaires know it. Now, they don't want you to know it, perhaps, but they know it. They absolutely 10,000% know it. I'm going to share some interesting stuff with you guys today. I got to tell you just the bigger picture to what is really going on in this space. It is it is cool to see what is going on in the digital asset space. I have to tell you, I'm going to go over some interesting articles today, just kind of trying to paint a bigger picture about what's really going on in the world with governments and economies, with billionaires, with retail investors, and where we stand in it, in the whole scheme of things, where we lie, right? And so really important to get this, guys, really. So, I think it's important to understand something. And shout out to the modern investor who really kind of laid down the bigger picture for me. And I'm going to share some of his thoughts, which I 10,000% agree with on the bigger picture about where we are in the digital asset space. And it's sometimes hard to wrap your brain around it. I took some notes, and I wrote, one of the things I wrote down on my notes was, which is pretty interesting. I was going to title the video but I just changed it up and said, I'll do something else. And here's what I said. People are playing with the has-been money, and they don't even realize it. People are playing with the has-been money, and they don't even realize it. They don't even realize it. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about, that why I kind of came to that conclusion. But listen to some Raoul Paul and some Ari Powell today as well, talking about the risk curve and value accrual. Right? These are hedge fund guys. Right? These are really big macro investors, and really kind of getting the bigger picture and where we are. Because I think it's so very important, guys, that we get the big picture and where we are. And the fact that we're early is genius. I was looking at my Blockfolio today, and I was looking at some of the digital assets that we have on there, 6 cents, 4 cents currently, right? 4.5 cents, right? Type of deal. And I was thinking to myself, okay, so those have gone up, whatever. If it's 6 cents today, right? And a crash is coming in February, which if the Ethereum futures comes out, more than likely it's going to cause another kind of crash in the market, just like the Bitcoin futures did, more than likely. It's at least, I think, in all ERC20 tokens, right? Ethereum, right? Built on Ethereum. And if that happens and you end up with this big time discount, are you positioned to take advantage of it, right? Are you positioned to take advantage of it? Are you positioned to get double your money just like that. Because if it hits 6 cents, right? If something hits 6 cents today, for example, and then it crashes down to 3 cents in February, it's proven that it can get to 6 cents in the market. There's enough supply and demand, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you get in at the right time, you can just double your money, right? You can just double your money just like that, right? Strength Gains is in the building. What's up, Siege? What's up with you, bro? Good to see you. Crypto Roger is here. How are you? Aida, what's going on, miss? How are you? Diesel Hound is in the building. Crypto Roger, what goal should one set regarding amount of XRP to retire with? Well, it all depends. What's retirement look like for you? What's that number look like? Manny, what's up, Manny? Good to see you. Matt is in the building. How are you, my friend? Darren Carter, what's good, bro? Big John is in the building. What's going on, Big John? Trey Hauser, what's up, bro? What's up with you, man? Life is good, or as we say, everything is everything, bro. Gokhan Zyber is here. Hi, good morning and good evening. Good to see you. Jace Korn is here. What's up? Crypto Man is here. And Raymond Scott. Yo, what's good, Raymond Scott? Good to see you guys. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Over 60 people in the stream. The bigger picture, listen, the digital asset space is where the alpha is, and they know it. Alpha, and that's where the money, that's where the big money, that's where the big gains, right? So that's macro investor, that's hedge fund manager talk, the alpha, right? And the digital asset space is where it is, and governments of the world know it. They know it. They're playing around on Bitcoin, and the world doesn't even know that they're doing it. The world doesn't even know that the governments of the world have been selling off their gold and getting Bitcoin. Interesting thought. Today, Bitcoin has massive volatility, right? Which is why only a certain amount, a small percentage of the big hedge funds and investment groups, if you will, are in the space. Very, very small, tiny fraction, right? But will it always remain volatile? Well, this asset and asset class, especially the asset Bitcoin, will it always be volatile? 10 years from now, 15 years from now, will it be volatile? And my answer is no, I don't think it will be. Right? A lot of money is going to come into the space. More and more money is going to come into the space over the years, and it's going to flatten out, and it's going to be more stable than it is today. And I know for us, as people who's been in the digital asset space and watching Bitcoin for years, since 2016, it's hard to imagine, it's hard to imagine Bitcoin leveling out. I'm gonna let you listen to Raoul Pal kind of explain what happened to the traditional market and looking to see where the digital asset space is going to eventually go. In my opinion, the digital asset space is going to eventually go to us being so excited and grateful for 300%, 400%, 500% gain in the digital asset space. Yeah. Eventually, it's going to get there. It really is. Now, it may be 20 years, but eventually, that's what's going to happen, right? Alex Jeter's in the building. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Hey, Rudy. Rudy Erasmus is here. Let's buy more XRP. Gamer for Life is in the building. What's up with you, my friend? Good to see you. My City is here. Julian Flash. What's up, family? What's good with you, my friend? Keep doing your thing, bro. Good to see you. Salvador Ocampo is here. How are you? Stan Rogers. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you this morning. Willie Washington. What's up, bro? Frogedelic Research Group. The workers are present. We are getting this money. Indeed, we are. Stan Rogers. Good to see you, Frogadelic. Stan Rogers is here. Strength gains. Love it. Basray is here. Diesel Hound. Easy. I get it. I get it all in. Nicole T. Hello again. Hello to you. Another lady of crypto is here. Good to see you, miss. Absolutely. So, guys, again, we're going to talk a little bit about the bigger picture. We're going to start with governments and billionaires to kind of paint a picture, if you will, on the grander scheme and the bigger picture. And again, be blessed, right? We always say it. This day and time for you and I should be a head up, shoulders back moment. Why? Because we're early adopters in an entirely new asset class that is a digital asset space. We hold assets that billionaires and hedge fund managers and Wall Street wants to hold. And we already hold them. We already hold them. I hope you guys understand that. And I'm going to share some stuff with you that I think is really going to paint the bigger picture about what's really going on with the U.S., right? The macro picture with the U.S. and other governments as well, right? Let me see, where should I start? Interesting thing to hear from Mike Novogratz. Mike Novogratz from crypto. More companies want to experiment with payment coins. Okay, Mike's an interesting character to say the least. But let me do this first, right? So let me share. Remember when this came out about Madame Lagarde? Remember when this came out about Madame Lagarde? King David, indeed they are, bro. Indeed they are. A lot of people are sleeping on RSR. They are. In 2 or 3 years from now, if we can patiently hodl. Yep. Remember when this came out? ECB's Christine Lagarde says speculative Bitcoin needs global regulations. In a speech at Reuters online event, Lagarde said Bitcoin was a highly speculative asset. And I remember we talked about this for a little bit and just thinking about why did she come out with this and say this, right? Why the timing was interesting. Everybody knows that Bitcoin is speculative. Like everybody knows that. Everybody knows that Bitcoin is speculative. What's the bigger picture? What's she saying here? What is she really saying? And what she's really saying is we've come to the conclusion that we can stronghold this technology. So therefore, we must embrace it, which in their words means regulate it. Regulate the on and off ramps, the exchanges. That's an on and off ramp, right? We have to regulate it because we can't stronghold the technology. We can't control it. It will innovate, right? It will innovate around us, right? And so that is what she is ultimately saying. I believe that they understand that this new asset class is going to become the new money. It's going to become the new money. And since they can't stronghold it, they're trying and figuring out how can they get in where they have some measure of control. And that is central bank digital currency. That's one thing. Because remember, the stable coins are privately created, like Uphold and Gemini, right? So they can't control that. But where's this thing that we can control and give us some measure of control? Because this Bitcoin and this movement and philosophy behind what it allows the retail and the average Joe and Jane to do, it's not what we can do. And so for them, it's the central bank digital currencies, right? For them, that's what it is. It's their way to get their foot in the door. It's their way to have a measure of control, right? Digital wallets, all of that, right? And it's almost a give and take in that we have to understand that there is going to be a measure of regulation. The idea that this space is just going to operate without regulation is a little naive, right? There's going to be regulations. When it comes to the monetary policy, right? Now, within the monetary policy, you can have your own policy, like becoming your own banker, right? Operating within the bigger monetary policy. That's a way for you to gain more control of your money, right? What is not a way of having control of your money is not controlling the financing need in your life. House, cars, boats, stuff. Business building, right? Business building, right? Vast majority of businesses, like Michael Saylor says, Amazon, Google, borrow money, financing, to build their business. So financing is a huge part of our everyday life. And you can control that function in your life, right? Just check out our formula for our channel on Wealth Wednesdays. Generational wealth equals the accumulation of digital assets plus sound saving instruments multiplied by cash flow business, right? So, but anyway, in the Bitcoin space, in the digital asset space, it's going to be regulation. But within that Bitcoin space, there are measures of control that you can have. DeFi and earning yield on your assets is massive. It's massive. Again, it's a way for you and I to earn money on our money without having to be dependent upon anything else. We don't have to be dependent upon JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or Citi or Wells Fargo. We can earn money on our money without dipping our toes, jumping in head first into the traditional space. So that's kind of the give. It's the give and the take, if you will, in this new asset class. But regulations are going to be here. That's ultimately the bottom line. So how are governments dealing with the fact that they can't strong arm this technology? I keep using stronghold, strong arm, right? They can't strong arm this technology. How are they dealing with it? How are they dealing with it? Well, the head of the ECB is saying, this is what we're looking to do, right? Definitely going to have some regulations on and off ramps, right? Whether that be taxes or not, there's got to be some regulation, right? We got to somehow not let the people go off wild in the, on the wild west. Right? And so this is someone who's head of a big time central bank, right? Now, here's something that's going on that a lot of people don't realize is the institutions, right? Increased institutional investors needed to stabilize the crypto market's volatility right now. And if there was, one thing that was, probably one of the rare truths that comes out of the camp from Goldman Sachs, it is this one right here. Increased institutional investors needed to stabilize the crypto market volatility right now. And again, I started to stream by saying, do we think Bitcoin and its volatility is going to be forever? And I just don't think so. Today it's volatile, right? It's interesting to me that you hear people like Kevin O'Leary, Peter Schiff, right? And any other, Nouriel Roubini, they talk about the volatility in the crypto asset space. Like they don't know that one day there's just not going to be volatility. Like they don't know that. Of course, one day there's going to be less volatility, right? When the digital asset space as a whole eats up gold and captures all of the gold market, which is coming. It ain't coming tomorrow, but it's coming, right? The volatility is going to be just about done, right? So when we start getting past, 10 trillion, 5 trillion, we'll begin to notice it, right? When we get to 10 trillion or so, we'll really begin to notice that the volatility is beginning to change, right? And so Bitcoin its volatility will be, right, go down. The alts who have significantly more uptick to it and then downtick when the bear market, that's going to start to change as well. But again, this could be 15 years from now. This could be 15 years from now. And we're early. We're so early in this space. Mike Novogratz said that we're in the first inning of a 9-inning game. And you and I were playing in this game, pre-season, right? Pre-season, if you will, right? But my point to share this article with you guys is that they said, number one, it's needed. Institutional investors are needed, and they talked about stabilizing the volatility. So they understand it's something that they need, but they also understand this is where it's going to ultimately go, to a stabilized or stable market. That's where it's going to go. And the reason why the top hedge funds or family offices and all of that stuff may not be in yet is because of the volatility. But they understand that it's coming. And they may tip their toe with 1%. But when it becomes stable, it'll be more than 1 to 3%. It'll be more than 3 to 5%. Right? It's coming, and they know it's coming. So the global head, Jeffrey Curry, believes that institutional investors would help stabilize the crypto industry. The number of institutions investing in cryptocurrency has increased since last year. The global head of commodities research at Goldman Sachs, Jeff Curry, made it known that institutional investors would play a pivotal role in stabilizing the crypto market. And they're coming, they're playing. Their percentage obviously is not as great as the retail investors and the speculative players, but they are coming into the space. And guess who's also coming into the space? Let me read this one. Goldman says Bitcoin is starting to mature, but institutional money is a tiny fraction of the market, which is what I said. Goldman's, okay, that's not good. Jeff Curry says more money from the financial world needs to flow into Bitcoin in order for it to stabilize. And if that's true, do you think more money's coming 3 years from now or 5 years from now? You think more money's coming 10 years from now? What do you think? It's coming, right? The money is coming into the space. Here's an interesting thing that, again, I just... billionaire Bitcoin critic Howard Marks is thankful his son bought Bitcoin. And this kind of, to me, is a lot like Jamie Dimon back in the day, calling Bitcoin, I don't know, did he call it poison, or was that Buffett? I know Dimon was going around firing people if they even mentioned the word Bitcoin at the same time they were buying it, right? Billionaire Bitcoin critic Howard Marks is thankful his son bought Bitcoin. Less than 4 years after saying cryptocurrencies are not real, billionaire investor Howard Marks admits he could have been wrong. And this is the challenge in this space, and this is the challenge of not knowing, right? Because maybe your neighbor, right? Think about this, 2008-9. Right? Bitcoin, 2009, let's say, introduced to the world. 2011, everyone was saying, nope, don't get any of that. Well, everybody was around pretty much in 2011. I had never heard of it. Right? I had never heard of it. But my point being, rich people, tell us not to get something, then they turn around and they get it. The I changed my mind on Bitcoin Club could have another billionaire representative. Howard Marks, the co-founder of the $140 billion Oak Tree Capital Group, recently admitted that he needs to change his negative stance on Bitcoin while being grateful that his son purchased a meaningful amount for the family. Just like when JB Diamond was saying, yep, not touching that stuff, where they had a or on the backside, right, on the down low, the family office, the family office was buying Bitcoin. And I bring this up not so much about the fact that it's Bitcoin, but it's that it's a new asset class, and a lot of people's first entry is in Bitcoin, but it's still the entire asset class. Bitcoin will not be Bitcoin without the other digital assets. The other digital assets will not be who they are without Bitcoin, right? It's a whole new asset class, right? It's a whole new asset class. And more of these stories, this just came out, updated January 13th for 2021. More and more of these stories are going to come, right? They're going to come, and they're going to come, and they're going to come, right? We're going to hear more and more and more about it. And sometimes we're not going to hear about it, but it doesn't change the fact that it is a reality. And let's talk about the nations now. Let me go over here let me go get some of these comments. I'm going to talk about some of the nations and what they're doing. Rasheen Be Wealthy, what's good, bro? Good to see you. Pali Krishnaredi, how are you? Crypto Royce is here. What's going on, bro? Wow, Moneymaker Boss is in the building. Guys, do me a favor. Got over 160 people in the stream. If you didn't get a chance to smash that like on the way in, do me a favor. Collapse the chat, go smash the like. This is our way of telling YouTube we want to get this channel out to more of us, the average Jane and the average Joe in this space, so we can in the world, so we can bring them into this space. It's hugely important. They need to know. They need to know that they are dealing with the has-been money. They're dealing with the has-been money. It's second best money. It's second best money. It's losing 20% a year of its value. It's second best has-been money. We got to let the world know that. We got to let the truck driver and the bank teller and the landscaper, the small business owner, the restaurant owner that's struggling right now, that there's a new asset class out there and that they can participate. They don't have to be an accredited investor, right? There's no credit checks. There's no you or I having to prove that we're worthy. Come on, man. Right? There's none of that. You can hop on the Celsius platform right now and get a loan based upon the value of the assets that you hold. And you can go and get those assets without restrictions, without having to jump through hoops, without having to be a part of some good old boy network or dealing in some nepotism world, right? Your cousin, your dude, your boy can go out and participate and acquire assets just like Mark Cuban can, just like Kevin O'Leary can, just like Grant Cardone can, just like Gary Vaynerchuk can, right? And then they can take those assets to a platform like Celsius that is not a respecter of person and just says, if you hold some assets, we can let you borrow money based on your assets. No application on what your ethnicity is, no application on how much your income is, no application about what your credit looks like. You understand? That's the new system. That's the new playground that we have a chance to play in. Right? You got some assets, borrow this money to get more assets, borrow this money to pay off some debt, borrow this money to go build a business, borrow this money to start something that you've always wanted to be able to do, but you couldn't do it because every time you sat down with someone on the other side of the table, they were judging you. They were the, you know, the judge and jury on who you are. We don't have to deal with that anymore. And we have to let the masses know that this is what's going on. And then one of the best way to do it is to smash a like on that button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell, hit the all the notification bell, so that we can let more and more people know what is going on. Because on this channel, this is about bringing in more of us. We need more of us in this space. Mrs. Nicole McLeod is here. Hey, Nicole, how are you? Welcome to the channel, miss. I don't think I've seen your name in the channel before. Another lady of crypto is in the building, and so is Chrissy Fouts. How about that? There you go, Chrissy Fouts. Just talked to some friends over the weekend to start using Celsius, and the weekly interest was the biggest selling point. Exactly. That's one of the great ways to get people. I'm doing this with my daughter right now. She's setting up a Celsius account. She's already got it set up, actually. We just got to hook the bank account up to it. And I'm saying, split your money up, right? We're gonna split it up. We're gonna put half over here, leave it in the regular traditional banking space, and we're gonna put half on Celsius. And let's just see what grows. See what grows. She fought me on this. Like, she wanted to keep it in that traditional world, right? Got the bank card, kind of just used to the bank card. I can put the bank card and go get McDonald's when I want to, right? That's what she's thinking, right? I said, no. Let's just do this. Let's split it up and let's see, right? So we're gonna set that up. All we got to do now is just hook her account up, right? And I'm gonna walk her through how to put, get the USDC and watch it grow. Right? Teenager. Okay, teenager. Right? They're not asking what her grades are in school, if she's got right? What's her plans for college? Right? What's her plans for college? Right? None of that. Right? It's a cool place. This is a cool time in history. I gotta tell you, it's a cool time in history for sure. Thank you, Miss Nicole. She is 18. She's a senior in high school. Not yet, Chrissy Faust. Crypto_JS, what's good, brother? Yeah, they're working on that. They're still finalizing that. Crypto_JS says, what's up, C? San Antonio checking in. I love it. As a Cell ambassador, do you know when Celsius will allow you to borrow off all of your assets and set up each crypto? I do know that is in the works. I do know that they are very, very focused on getting that done, because they understand that the community wants it. So it is in their in their what's that, line of sight, if you will, right? That it's in their thinking, right? It's in front and center in their brain. But most important right now is the onboarding, getting all the new people onboarded correctly, and the web version of the Celsius app, right? The computer version, so you can just go on your computer and hook it up. So let me share. I just wanted to say hello. What's going on, Mr. African Guru? Good to see you. I think that ends tomorrow, Mr. African Guru. Will we be able to buy XRP on Coinbase? I think that ends tomorrow. So it'll be Uphold and Uphold, BitTrue. Kraken is stopping. I forget the date Kraken is stopping. I think Kraken is ending theirs on the 29th. Moneymaker Boss, y'all better buy XRP these ways when the next Great Depression comes. Or yeah. Thomas Conservative. Well, thanks for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you being here. Happy Monday to you. Buy XRP for the same reason people buy real estate. They aren't making it anymore. Great point. And it's hard to get. Indeed. And it's about to become harder to get. There's a reason for that. And when you hear Mr. Brad Garlinghouse says, you know, from day one, this has not been a consumer facing model. Right? This is about FIs, banks, governments, central banks. We're blessed to have it. And I believe we're going to be even more blessed when they discover that they need our XRP. I believe. Not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy XRP and not to sell the ones that you don't hold. I'm certainly not sharing that with, I'm not saying that to you guys at all. Crosshairs. There it is, Mark Taylor. Thank you, my friend. So that is in their crosshairs for sure, about being able to just take the total value of all your assets instead of just individual assets to borrow against. All right, guys, so let's go over this again. Let me go over this other part here. Where was I at? This is interesting. Venezuelan army. The Venezuelan army starts mining Bitcoin to make ends meet. I remember when this first came out and I just kind of brushed it off, not really thinking about the bigger picture to what is really, really, really going on. What really is going on is the major governments in the world are realizing that their fiat dollar and their currency and that monetary policy that comes along with it has failed them. Has failed them. And so they're turning to the digital asset space as the solution. Shout out to RSR, speaking of Venezuela and Argentina. Reserve Protocol, was it Reserve Rights? Doing their thing, RSR, interesting project. Do your own homework, do your own research on that one. The Venezuelan army turns to crypto mining as the country's economy collapses. Now, why would they be buying Bitcoin if it's volatile? Right? If all the billionaires are saying, yeah, you know. The regime of Nicolas Maduro continues to lean on crypto to keep economically solvent. The regime of Nicolas Maduro continues to lean on crypto to keep economically solvent. The government in Venezuela via Instagram, an engineering brigade of the Venezuelan army inaugurated the new, listen to this, Digital Assets Production Center. Digital Assets Production Center of the Bolivarian Army of Venezuela. This is where we are. You ever think about that? This is where we are. Nations are moving into this digital asset space to save their economies. To save their economies. Some of you probably already have some Bitcoin. And it's not so much for me about the scarcity. I get it. The scarcity is going to be massive. It's definitely going to raise the value in Bitcoin without question. Without question, that's going to happen. But nations are doing this. Nations are moving into the digital asset space. This is why I say we must say to our friends and family in a nice and kind way, you're playing with the has-been money. Say it nicely. You're playing with the has-been money. That, my friends, is a cold, hard truth. Pakistan is now using the government funds to mine Bitcoin. Pakistan. And there's places like I can't even say it, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, same thing. Same thing. Pakistan is now using government funds to mine Bitcoin. The country's economic growth has slowed down in the past few years. But Bitcoin mining could help partially Revive that. Now, your co-workers, your family, your girls, they don't know. Like they don't even know what decrypt.co is. You think they know about CoinDesk or Cointelegraph? What about Bitcoinist.com? You think they know? They don't know about this news. Mainstream media is not saying anything about Venezuela, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Argentina, Venezuela, into Bitcoin mining, into the digital asset space and mining. They're not saying anything about that. Anything about that. Interesting stuff. The government of one of Pakistan's 4 provinces has set up 2 mining farms. It had earlier pushed for favorable crypto laws in the country. Countries like Pakistan and Iran have turned to Bitcoin to revive a failing economy. And that's one of the things. The other reason why they're doing it is not to be beholden to United States sanctions. That's the other reason. The government of Khyber, I'm not going to say that last name, Pakhtunkhwa, one of Pakistan's 4 provinces, announced the launch of 2 state-owned Bitcoin mining farms last week. The move marked one of the first instances of a government using its own funds to mine Bitcoin and make a profit from doing this. Right? So 2 things there. They recognize that their economy is failing. The economy and its monetary system is failing. And they have a solution. And they see that solution is the digital asset space as the solution. The 4th industrial revolution, this entirely new asset class. Here's something very, very cool. 3 countries tell the IMF, think about this. 3 countries tell the IMF they want to issue Bitcoin bonds. 3 countries. Back in 2019, this article came out. Afghanistan, Tunisia, Uzbekistan. The government of at least 3 countries have formally acknowledged their interest in issuing a sovereign Bitcoin bond to raise capital. Not operating in the traditional space, but wanting to operate in the digital asset space, which means they have Bitcoin, and which means they've had Bitcoin for a while. And now they're trying to do a little kind of derivative, if you will, of it. Why? Again, because the traditional space is not working for them. Their economy is failing and they need an alternative. Russia plans to tackle the United States sanctions with Bitcoin investment. Russia plans to tackle U.S. sanctions with Bitcoin investment. Makes you think about why the United States is quote unquote, Aida, thank you so much for the super chat, miss. I appreciate that. You're always supporting the channel. It means a lot to us here. Thank you so much. Why do you think the U.S. is kind of where they are and what they're doing? Sub got 123, said, wow. Why do you think the U.S. is kind of dragging its feet, if you will, or at least not showing their hand in what they're doing, which is probably more likely? Why do you think that is? They never thought, and it was a mistake, that Bitcoin in this new asset class was going to become a thing, in my opinion. They never thought it would. And perhaps the mindset behind economics of what is it? Not economics. Confessions. Perhaps that MOU, modus of operandi, if you will, of the confessions of an economic hitman has worn out its stay. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I highly encourage you to get the book. You can get book 1 or 2, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. This is a US of A thing. And perhaps that methodology has worn out its stay. Right? You throw the whole SWIFT thing in there, and the weaponizing of SWIFT in places like Russia and Iran and China. It's like, nah, we're done with that. We're done with that. Legendary is in the building. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you. We're done with that. That's what they're saying. That is what they're saying. Right? That's the big picture. Stephen Conlon, how are you? Conlon, how are you, my friend? How are you, Crypto C's? Man, you really know what you're talking about. Love your channel as it provides good insight. Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. There is so much going on with XRP. It is the fastest crypto, period. Indeed, it is. Indeed, it is. Venezuela has no cash. And thank you, Stephen, for that. I appreciate you saying that. Venezuela has no cash. Indeed, it's a problem, critical complex. It's a problem. It's a problem. Argentina, Venezuela, it's a big time problem. They got to figure out something. That's why I'm really excited about reserve. The reserve rights is going into that area and giving them some options, stable coin option and the digital asset option. It's pretty powerful what they are doing over there, my friend, what reserve rights is doing over there. It really, really is. Ryan Hexpors here. How are you, my friend? What you thinking about crypto lending? Well, I just think that it's collateralized lending, right? It's taking collateralized debt positions. I think it's what the wealthy do. I think it's what the major corporations and mortgage insurance companies, they all do it. Because again, the idea is not to liquidate your assets, it's to leverage your assets. You got to think about why take the time to take your hard-earned money to acquire the asset and now liquidate it, if it's a true asset, right? All right, so let me go back here. Let me do this again, because I really want to get to Raoul Paul. I really want to get to Raoul Paul. I am still sharing. Where am I at? There's the 3, isn't that interesting? 3 countries. Russia plans to tackle the U.S. sanctions with the Bitcoin investment. A Kremlin economists actually said it. Russians bought, here's again, the government and wealthy people in Russia, the government and wealthy people in Russia bought 8.6 billion in Bitcoin. 8.6 billion in Bitcoin, says the Kremlin economist. So if Bitcoin in the digital asset space is a way for you and I to operate outside of the traditional fiat dollar world, where we're losing on average 20% of our buying or spending power, if you will, why wouldn't major nations realize the same thing? They operate in the same, right? 80% of all trade is in the US dollar. So they're in the same predicament. Why would they not choose a different way to go? They have been, and they've been doing it for years. They just haven't been telling you and I that they've been doing it. 8.6 billion in Bitcoin. The OFAC sanctions will push Russia to Bitcoin. Yeah, Russian economist Vladislav Ginko is out with another bold claim. This time he says that some companies and wealthy individuals in Russia have bought 1.8 million Bitcoin. 1.8 million Bitcoin. The article came out April of 2019. And so that brings us to the US in our traditional space and what's going on there and what really is going on. What are we really doing? If you've been in a space since 2017, 2016, you heard about the seizes that the United States agencies go through in terms of Bitcoin. And the play in the media was they were just auctioning this Bitcoin, right? They would auction it off. We all heard about Tim Draper and others, right? You've all heard of these auctions in BTC. Reality is they were just auctioning some of that Bitcoin off, not all of it. How the United States government handles this massive stash of Bitcoin. The federal government's relationship with Bitcoin has generated numerous headlines over the year, which is surprising, considering that the United States government is one of the largest holders of Bitcoin. This is on Investopedia. The United States government is one of the largest holders of Bitcoin. Russia, 1.6, 1.8 million Bitcoins. United States, one of the largest holders of Bitcoin. Sounds like to me that major G7 nations are preparing for the new money, the new currency, the new store of value. The new store of value, right? Let me see here where I wrote some stuff down. Yeah, I got that. I already said that, right? Right? The new store of value, the new money, the new money. It's funny because sometimes we'll have these conversations between Miss Crypto Siege and myself, right? Because she likes these big time savers. She likes to save what I say is the traditional space, the has-been money, right? And I have to remind her about what's going on in that world and losing 20% every single year in debasement, if you will, on your money. And this is the new thing, right? So we can take our fiat dollars and get that 10% every single year, right? Or we can put it in the assets that are going to give us, 3, 4, 5%, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7% a year, plus the accrual and value of XRP going from 28 cents to $3, from $3 to $10, of Ethereum going from $300 not too long ago. It was $300 to $1,200, plus 5% interest a year. Right? That's where it is. That's where we are. Think about that. Can't do that in the traditional world. We just can't do it. Can't get 10% a year on your money. And I'm going to let Raoul Pal really lay it down for you guys, him and Ari Powell, on what the real deal, kind of the real deal, and why people like Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy and Paul Tudor Jones are putting billions into the digital asset space. Right? Let me share that with you guys. This is going to be a few minutes, but it's really important, guys. Let me go right back to here. Let me get to Raoul Pal asking the question. Risk curve and quality timing.
Good output. Certainly, a lot of traders are having that same discussion because we have good output.
Oh, shit.
Certainly, a lot of traders are having that same discussion because good output.
Oh my gosh, what is going on?
Certainly, a lot of traders are. It's not on ultimately accrue $100 billion of value with Metcalf, but the bet is on. We're betting that over the next 4 months, we think low quality altcoins are going to rally. Doing the passive basket may make sense. I think that could be a very smart trade. I don't like it as a long-term investment, and here's why. Yeah, whether it works depends on kind of the ratio. So in a world where, and here's a difference between traditional markets and crypto, it's not fundamentally different, but it is quantitatively different, which is, I'll use ICOs as an example. The ICOs prior to March 2017 were generally very high quality. There were some scams, but the ratio was basically, I'm going to make up a ratio, call it one great project for every 3 scams, right? So maybe that's not a good ratio, but it's much better than what came after, right? And ICOs that launched after September 2017, it was like 20 scams for every good project. And so if you're in the world where there aren't that many scams, a passive approach works great. If you're in a world where almost everything's a scam, you can't do passive.
So I mean, here's the point. It depends where you are in the cycle. Because we do know that, listen, if you were to build a large portfolio of ICOs, tokens of any sort, right? That over time, if you try and forget the generating alpha by buying the worst stuff, we know that it can be a great trade, as you say. Just buying a broad, equally weighted portfolio of these look interesting, which is the VC idea, probably over the cycle, and maybe not this part of the cycle, does pretty well. Because we don't know what's going to win, as we've been talking about a lot during our conversation, is there's a hell of a lot of new stuff still to come. And
you getting that, right? He's basically saying that, again, that portfolio, because in the digital asset space, especially in the XRP community, we have the conversation over and over and over again, time and time and time again. Should I be all in on just XRP, or should I have a diversified portfolio? And the Crypto Seizure Zone, we went back and forth in that for months, for months. I mean, I would diversify Cardano, Hedera Hashgraph, Decentraland, Hollow Chain, right, and XRP. Then I would be like, nah, that doesn't really make sense. Sell all of it all into more XRP. Then I would change my mind back again, right? This is what I did. It's diversified some more, right? It was insane. VeChain, of course, was in there as well, right? And then I ultimately decided, you know what? For me, in the Crypto Seizure Zone, I'm not telling you guys what to do with your money, right? Certainly not telling you to do that. I decided I needed to get to a good mark. I called it a milestone mark, right? Where I had that, bags were full, that good mark where I felt if I did nothing but hold on to this for the next 10 years, it would be life, generational changing, right? So we got to that mark and then I diversified. That was just my plan. But ultimately it was the diversification that made sense. It was just how to go about the diversification. And that is because everyone's situation is different. Everyone's situation is different. He's saying, the first thing he says, well, it depends on where you are, right? Depends on where you are. It's just what Raul Paul just said. But overall, the portfolio, and I'm looking at my blockfolio, I'm looking at my blockfolio saying, if I wouldn't have had Decentraland and HBAR and EGLD and Anchor and Reserve and just XRP and VeChain, portfolio wouldn't look as good. It wouldn't look as good. All right, just some food for thought. Let's continue to listen to this guy.
we have no idea who's going to win that game. But placing some bets, my guess is the risk reward still outdoes it. And again, that's not talking about the worst assets, which is, I think, a great trade. I had the same conversation with Dan Moorhead this morning. Dan's like, yeah, we're looking at exactly this. As Bitcoin dominance starts to go down, start going further out on the risk curve to generate some really good alpha.
Certainly a lot of traders are having that same discussion because we have been through prior cycles. It's a natural thing to think about. And now we're actually having a second order discussion, which is, okay, we see some alt, so 2 weeks ago, there was like a mini alt season where you had some assets like Litecoin do well. And we were internally debating, like, this feels a little bit too early. How much of this is genuine retail buying versus traders like Dan front running retail? And the thinking is, of course, if too many people pile into low quality alts expecting them to pump imminently because retail's coming in, but retail's 6 months away, then you get to pull back first, right? Then you're going to get a better entry in those people because those people don't actually want to be holding these bags indefinitely, right? They're hoping for a somewhat quick flip to retail. Yeah, I don't. I will say this. I think like when I look at the top 100 coins by market cap, I think we can pretty definitively say that 70 or 80 of them are worthless fundamentally. I'm very humble that I don't know what will work, but sometimes you can say something won't work because it's scam artists or the team is grossly incompetent or the underlying premises are just broken and faulty and there's no real hope to pivot to success. There's some subjectivity even there because what was a good example of this? I use MakerDAO as an example. So like when MakerDAO was first, I think their white paper, I'm going to say this wrong and get lambasted for it, but I feel like it was early 2017, but I may be misremembering. And it had some critical game theory flaws. It was fundamentally broken as a as a project. So the idea is you have the Maker token, which helps support stability at DAI, which is meant to be an algorithmic peg stablecoin. And looking at the white paper, like it couldn't work. You could say that definitively. Like this, there are some very, very simple game theory-based attacks that can basically destroy this. But the team iterated and fixed it. So the fact that something's broken at time zero, of course, doesn't mean that the team can't improve it and fix it. And by the way, I'm not saying the Maker's fully fixed. There's still some questions with it, but the specific things I'm talking about, they were fixed. So, we do see that frequently as well. Bitcoin, when it first launched, had a critical inflation bug. In 2010, Bitcoin hard forked to fix a critical bug. So, you could have said, oh, I read the code of Bitcoin in 2009, and this thing is doomed because of this bug. You would have been wrong, right? Because things can improve and be fixed. With that said, I personally wouldn't want to blindly buy 100 crypto assets. I do think that with a little bit of work, I can eliminate 80% of them and dramatically increase my efficiency.
And this is to bring me on to where I wanted to get to, is you and I came out of traditional finance. Almost all alpha is gone. Too much money, crushed volatility.
This is the point that I really wanted you guys to get. What Raoul Pal says here about where we are, where we're playing in this fourth industrial revolution in this new asset space that is a digital asset class as compared to the traditional finance space. And so this is hugely important. Let me go back a little bit and let him talk here.
Brought down time horizons, and that led to almost no alpha. Really difficult to generate alpha, and it's fleeting.
Hold on.
So,
I'm very humble that I don't know what will work, but sometimes you can say something won't work because it's scam artists or the team is grossly incompetent or the underlying premises are just broken and faulty and there's no real hope to pivot to success. There's some subjectivity even there because what was a good example of this? I use MakerDAO as an example. So like when MakerDAO was first, I think their white paper, I'm going to say this wrong and get lambasted for it, but I feel like it was early 2017, but I may be misremembering. And it had some critical game theory flaws. It was fundamentally broken as a as a project. So the idea is you have the Maker token, which helps support stability at DAI, which is meant to be an algorithmic peg stablecoin. And looking at the white paper, like it couldn't work. You could say that definitively. Like this, there are some very, very simple game theory-based attacks that can basically destroy this. But the team iterated and fixed it. So the fact that something's broken at time zero, of course, doesn't mean that the team can't improve it and fix it. And by the way, I'm not saying the Maker's fully fixed. There's still some questions with it, but the specific things I'm talking about, they were fixed. So, we do see that frequently as well. Bitcoin, when it first launched, had a critical inflation bug. In 2010, Bitcoin hard forked to fix a critical bug. So, you could have said, oh, I read the code of Bitcoin in 2009, and this thing is doomed because of this bug. You would have been wrong, right? Because things can improve and be fixed. With that said, I personally wouldn't want to blindly buy 100 crypto assets. I do think that with a little bit of work, I can eliminate 80% of them and dramatically increase my efficiency.
And this is bringing on to where I wanted to get to, is you and I came out of traditional finance. Almost all alpha is gone.
Gone.
Too much money, crushed volatility, brought down time horizons, and that led to almost no alpha. Really difficult to generate alpha, and it's fleeting. So, the machine's got the alpha for a while. You were in an option market making firm. They had alpha for a while because they had better technology. And then Goldman bought a whole bunch of them, like Spear Leads and all of that. And that all disappeared. And it was just there's no alpha. So, you know, macro's currently got alpha because it's come a slightly longer term and we're in a macro world, but then macro dies once volatility of assets goes down. Here is a space where they're bringing in new securities by the day in the hundreds, of which you require to do fundamental bottoms-up picking and homework to figure out what's what, right? So that's hard. And anything that's hard equals alpha. You've got this, as I said, this adoption effect that if you do find a good bet, it can be life-changing. And then you've got the fact that there's no capital in the space, which is where you started with this and said, there is no capital in a highly volatile asset class with new instruments that are super complex and require a lot of homework, and it's moving so fast up the adoption curve at Bitcoin level that you can have a macro bets as well. I mean, why bother in traditional markets when there's this much alpha?
And look at this guy smile. Why bother in the traditional market? Why bother? Why bother in the traditional market when there's this much alpha? You see what I'm saying, guys? Do you see where you are? Do you see where you are? This is where we are. Look, we're playing in the same space as this multi-millionaire and this hugely successful dude over here. We're playing in the same space. And we don't have to submit some application of approval to participate. We just have to do our own homework, do our own research, never invest any more than we can afford to lose. Check into this channel and other great channels, by the way, like The Modern Investor. If you're not subscribed to this channel, I'm telling you guys, you're missing out. Here he is right here. The Modern Investor, 174,000 subs. He has another channel. I think it's tens of thousands of subs there as well. I think he calls it the Money Channel or something like that. And here's the URL for his other channel. This is where I got my thesis for today from listening to this over an hour of him talking. And he's talking about right here that Norway, the government, holds 16,981 sats per a Norwegian citizen as a result of government state. The Norway government invested in Square and MicroStrategy. Just like JP Morgan just invested in, or up their investment, one or the other, and MicroStrategy. Why? Why Square and MicroStrategy? Because they're invested in this new asset class. Massively invested in this new asset class. But definitely you want to check out this guy right here, The Modern Investor, TMI. TMI on YouTube. You're welcome, Idea. You are more than welcome, miss. Holochain is really affordable. It's massively affordable, right? I had tons and tons of Holochain, dude. Tons. Sold it all for XRP, right? Tons. I mean, tons. Bearwise 311 said, yes, sir, I'll subscribe. There you go, guys. Follow Bear Wires right there. Subscribe to that dude. He is the one in the digital asset space. The one. And the reason why I say that is he doesn't take a, most of the time it is news, I get it, but his broader picture of the entire space, he's not a respecter of person, right? He's not all in on XRP or all in on Bitcoin or all in on Cardano, right? He's given the broader perspective. And I really respect him for that, because sometimes as content creators, we forget the bigger picture, right? He just keeps his head down, keeps making videos, really, really good stuff. That is the dude that you want to follow, especially for new people, because they can listen, they can get informed of what's going on with always a bit of his kind of narrative on the bigger picture of what's kind of really going on. It's just really, really important, I believe, to get that. Ballistic God. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Right? Oh, I didn't even see you say that right there. Yo, say my name if you want a donut. I don't need donuts, bro. We are good in the Crypto Sieges home. Sienna, haha, sold it all for XRP dedication. Yeah, so you know what I mean? I did. I really, I did. Way back in the day, I sold all that hollow, right? So, and that's when, again, we were kind of battling, right? We were battling for trying to figure that out. Diversify, not diversify, you know, how to diversify, all those different things, right? And so we were blessed with a, you know, I don't know, 3 years, 900 plus days. I don't even know what it is. Bear market that gave us the opportunity, right? Right? That gave us the opportunity to, what is it? You know, accumulate and be able to pivot when it was important to do it, right? Texas Crypto, good morning to you. It's all good, Ballistic. Right? So, you know, I think it's just, we were blessed to be in that kind of position. You know, you got people coming into space, they just got in here 4 or 5, 6 months ago. Great timing, right? The downside of that is it's not a lot of time for accumulation unless you got, you know, tens of thousands of dollars, you know, somewhere, right? So it's kind of, you know, that's kind of where it is, right? And I think I know that we're going to be massively rewarded for our due diligence, for our patience, for our resolve through this long bear market. I know without question that we're going to be rewarded. How we play this market is going to be massively important. How we play it, I believe, is going to be massively important. This is why I recommend bcbacker.com for a perspective. I'm not saying take his strategy and run with it, but for a perspective on what to do and how to play this market, right? How much XRP is needed, says Rudy. I don't know if there's a minimum or net or a maximum. I know the Modern Investor, I believe he said, now I can't remember. 10,000 was absolutely more than enough ever needed. And I don't know if he said 1,500 or 3,000 is the minimum, somewhere around there. But that was what he said a long time ago. You can go to his videos, his playlist, and you can see that title, How Much XRP is Enough. I bought Charlie's bag. Yeah, 1/3 of Americans can't even afford $1,000 for an emergency expense, let alone a nice bag of crypto. That's the truth. Trevor LeConte, good afternoon, Sage. Good afternoon to you, my friend. That's why, you know, it was a blessing. All right, Critical Complex, appreciate that, bro. Enjoy your run, my friend. Right, appreciate this over 900 plus days of this bear market, so that everyone, the average Joe and Jane, we all had a chance, right? Every single month, every single week, every single 2 weeks to invest in the space. I mean, do you realize what you've done if you've been hodling for 900 plus days of XRP or any digital asset during this market? Do you realize what you've done? You've exercised the simple disciplines in life to succeed every month religiously. I remember I was chatting with a young man in the space every week religiously, buy a little, buy a little, buy a little. He did that for over, I think he said over 2 years. Right? And you're still here. You're still here. You're still checking in. Right? Still checking in. Powerful. You guys should be, again, head up and shoulders back. Proud of yourselves for what you've done. It's right around the corner. And that's my biggest fear is people check out and they sell when the win is right around the corner. It's right. Well, Bless Cruz, I don't know what's going to happen to Elias. I know he was just the acting guy, so I don't know if he just takes a regular spot there at the SEC or if he moves somewhere else. Right? What's going on, Guac Girl? Just good to see you. Jim Jones, I spent my stimulus check on my XRP. I hear you. I gotta tell you, it's Miss Crypto Siege and Little Miss Crypto Siege. They already got theirs, right? They already got theirs. And she's putting in Little Miss Crypto Siege is putting hers on Celsius plus $400 Celsius. Yep. Yep, I better do it while I can. Pretty soon she'll be going out of the house and she won't have to listen to her dad. So, yep, get her into that discipline. And this is the way I'm introducing her to digital assets, right? Figuring out how to earn money on that dirty, nasty fiat first, and then she'll figure it out. Fabian Reyes, how are you? Good afternoon from Dallas. Only strong will survive. From Dallas, how about that? Got a lot of good friends out in Dallas, bro. Good to see you here. Right, so that's the deal there, guys. That is the deal. Just understand, it's not just you and I. The billionaires are beginning to get it, like Mark Cuban and this guy here. I forget his name now. Where his son bought Bitcoin, right? Paul Tudor Jones and Michael Saylor, right? Had institutions like Goldman Sachs, right, getting into custody. They're beginning to get it, but we've been here way before them. We knew it. We figured it out. We figured it out way before them. So now is not the time to get scared. Now is the time to show even stronger resolve. Now is the time to be more confident that you know what you hold. Now is that time to do that. Now is the time to do it. That's why, during these little $4 and $3-4 moments we would have on XRP, I didn't even care if it was little money. I just did it. $100, $200, I just did it. $500, I just did it to strengthen my resolve, to remind myself that I know what it is that I hold. I know what it is that I hold. Right? And I'm not telling you to buy or not to buy XRP or sell your XRP. I'm saying what we were doing, what we have been doing in the Crypto Sieges home. But I think you guys know. I know that you guys know, and I know that you guys understand. I'm here to remind you that this is not the time to lessen your resolve. This is the time to strengthen your resolve. So when the bull market really starts to happen, which is going to be probably more like May, maybe March, but probably more like May, in my opinion, you are prepared and you will be able to reap the benefits of having that strong resolve. So when you go do you out in the marketplace, you will feel good about it. You won't hesitate. You won't feel certain kind of way because you won, and maybe your dude or your family member didn't win, right? You can feel good about your choices. I know for me, right? When we do the Porsche Cayman, when we do the Ferrari Roma, or maybe even the probably going to be the Roma, right? When we do make that move, right? When we do his and her Porsches, right? Good, right? When we get the $1 million home, we'll be good, right? We'll, without hesitation, without any kind of guilt, because we paid the price. We paid the price, right? So when we get a spot here and we get a spot here, because we like to just we like to just get up and go, no hesitation, right? And so when we do the business class and we do the first class, right? When we're on the Emirates or whatever it is that we're going to do, right? We know that we paid that price, sacrifice. Over 900 plus days. God even knows how long it's been since XRP's all-time high of $3.84. I don't know how. I think it's over 3 years now. It is. It's over 3 years now. Yeah. And so when we take that trip, we take that vacation, no guilt. We deserved it. We earned it. We earned it because we exercised the simple disciplines week after week and month after month. And YouTube video after YouTube video, and content creator after content creator, right? In investments in this thing to learn to level up our IQ on digital asset space, and investments in that thing to level up our IQ in the digital asset space. We earned it, and we're deserving. And you, my friends, can say the same thing for yourselves. And I will tell you that you're deserving. I hope you understand that you're deserving of all the great things that God has to offer for you. And this is just a part of that. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap up this video like I do all of my videos and remind you guys of this. And that is that old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather that we remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in. Well, we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating, or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know, that the battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. It's yours, guys. Go get it. Guys, I'm gonna leave a link in the description for our product launch if you guys want to learn how to lose weight safely in an environment, in a community, and association that's going to support you with the program that goes along with the products. Program, products, environment, association. Here's the link in the description. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Do not hesitate to reach out to the Crypto C so I can answer your questions. All right, guys, listen, have a great rest of your day. Remember, guys, this is our chance to win. We'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.